All right, so hello everyone. I am Holly Reynolds, Senior Product Designer for Plan, and today I will be sharing about blocking issues. So let's start with the problem. Currently, our users do not have the ability to establish dependencies between issues. So they can mark issues as related, and as a result, many have been using this as a semi-solution to attempt to address this need. One of the primary reasons for this need is that there is no way currently for them to explicitly mark an issue as either blocking another issue or blocked by another issue. And this is something that's been highly sought after. So as you can see, this was a very popular issue. Opened 2 years ago, it had over 150 participants and comments, and of course, multiple designers and PMs working on it, excuse me, including myself, Alexis, Keenan, and Mark. So again, while we currently allow our users to mark issues as related to another issue, it's helpful, but it doesn't inform the user how the item is related. To properly map out these dependencies in effort sequencing, they need to be able to mark items as dependent on another item or identify an item as blocking another item of work or blocked by another item. We believe that this will help ensure proper planning of issues so that the user can accomplish their goals within the desired timeline, thereby increasing the customer satisfaction with the overall user experience. So the GitLab goal for this feature is to increase value for our higher tiered customers in an effort to not only increase adoption and improve customer retention, but also to raise customer satisfaction from a usability and planning standpoint. This particular issue was also one of the Q3 OKRs for Plan regarding understanding dependencies. So we started out with a great deal of discussion surrounding this particular problem space. This led to some initial quick sketches by Alexis showing possible design involving repurposing the related issues tree by expanding its capabilities to not only allow users via a dropdown to still mark issues as related, but now also to mark them as blocked by another issue or blocking another issue. They could still paste in the URL for one or more issues to associate them with any of these three types, but they could only do that in a single session. So in other words, they could choose one or more issues, but only apply one issue type to those issues at a time. She also included a list view which showed each group of issues segmented by these three issue types. And we called this section linked issues. So that's what you see in the first iteration here on the left. The second iteration shows two possible adjustments to those layouts. I recommended we pull the three options from the dropdown and instead go with radio buttons as we had the real estate, and it didn't seem necessary to hide these choices if we didn't have to. She expanded on that idea by showing one variation with this new design and some verbiage tweaks. The second showing a separate set of verbiage tweaks, as well as adding in some help text below the field to further offer some clarity to the users. So I created some quick mock-ups showing these designs, which raised for us both some questions surrounding the usability of the UI. I decided to take those designs and convert them to low fidelity prototypes in Figma and conduct some quick in-house usability testing. We were running a bit low on time at this point, and naturally I would have preferred actual customers, as I always worry a little about internal bias, but in-house feedback was certainly better than nothing in this case. So I created two prototypes and tested one with half of the users and one with the other half. And I think we only had 6 total. I would have preferred much more, obviously, but due to the time constraints, 6 was certainly better than nothing. The differences were verbiage tweaks and the placement of the help text. So some of the things we wanted to understand in this case were the terminology, use of the words blocking versus blocked by, and what those terms meant to the user. The placement of help text, did they understand what they could do here? Flow and function, so users could add multiple issues, as I said, to a single linked issue type, but they must hit the add button before being able to add those items to a different list type. Did they understand it that way? Did that cause any challenges for them? The default radio selection. So I saw related as a less destructive approach in that it didn't necessarily imply that there was a problem in the way blocker items would. Would it make sense then to have related selected by default? And which item would they use the most? The order of the items in the list view, and even whether or not it should be all visible or in a different layout, such as a tabbed view. With regards to the order of the items, did it matter if we put blocked before related? And which did we expect to have in the longer list? Which was more important and why? And then finally, explore any general pain points and seek opportunities with each of the layouts. So again, people were very passionate about this particular feature. After testing, some of our user insights included that understanding some of the issues as related, users considered some of the issues as related but not blockers, but all blocker issues were of course related. Half of the users expect to click add when placing a new linked issue before changing the type again. The other expected to be able to add an issue, choose a different radio selection, paste in another issue, and then click add only once, being able to submit everything in a single session. So 2 out of 6 struggled to understand what blockers meant in this case as well, which was another concern that we had. And another user referred to blocking issues as an edge case for related items, stating that they had typically assigned related items more often than blockers when using this type of issue. All users had concerns with the length of the list box and growing items pushing down other groups. And some users were confused by related versus a blocker because blockers are related items. Some wanted the ability to mark an item as both related and blocking, or related and blocked by. So there were some definitely interesting insights that came from that experience. So Alexis and I worked together with the PMs to review this feedback, and I created a final hi-fi mockup showing the end result. She and I collaborated a bit further after that on the design to create this final proposal. And in it, we have repurposed the related issues to be a linked issues tree. Someone mentioned that merge request recently had dependencies built in, so we collaborated with that group to ensure consistency where possible. We added in contextual tooltips beside each label so that users can easily find them next to the terms we were concerned with. Decided to go with the list view broken into the 3 subsections rather than a tab view, with the expectation that most users will not have a large number of blocker items, though they could have a large number of related items, which is why that is at the bottom. And discussed the verbiage with Russell and created a conversational UI for establishing the linked issue type relationship. So at the top it says, the current issue is blocking the following issues, and then you've got the issue or issues listed in that particular section. And then defaulted for order to blocking, then blocked by, then related to for consistency, and under the expectation that this order would be the most important to the user. Oops, sorry about that. I forgot that was a link. Let's just go full screen here. We're almost done. So this issue is currently, I believe, in the hands of the engineers, but we do have some future goals for diving a little bit deeper. We want to understand the user needs surrounding the new functionality. So is there a better approach than the radio button solution and a single but segmented list? We want to understand if epics should also have the ability to be marked as blocking or blocked by another epic, and consider how we might help users more easily identify items that are blockers and address the issues associated with them, providing them with an even faster and more efficient process. And that was all that I had for today. Thank you so much. I look forward to your feedback and to any questions.
Amazing presentation, Holly. Thanks so much. anyone has any comments or questions, we have 15 minutes for every presenter, so we actually have 4 minutes for questions or comments.
I have a question for the related merge request section. Has it been considered as well to be taken up into the same UI?
They came to us and said that that piece was completed. That's a very good question, though. Probably at this point, we would need to go back and look at what's been done in comparison to what we've done and look for opportunities to tweak it. But we tried to be as consistent as possible with their designs. So hopefully those items will be very similar in terms of experience. I think that they do not have the same approach to the help documentation. So that would be certainly one area that we could look to be a little bit more consistent. But that's a great question. That's something that we will need to work closely with them on.
All right, if no more questions, we can go to the second presentation.